Hi everyone, this is Philip Page once again with Saving Ghosts. I'm doing something a little bit different right now. I'm trying the Patreon live to see how this works, but it was brought to my attention very recently. In fact, let me find the actual message here. Give me one second. From one of our members, Violet, had asked if there's any possibility I could go over budget-minded spirit communication. In other words, if someone doesn't have a whole lot of cash flow to sink into, or just doesn't want to sink a lot of money into spirit communication, what's another way that they could possibly do it? And so apps for your phone is probably the easiest way to go about it. I use, and I have mentioned this, if you've ever seen any of the episodes, I've mentioned this a few times, that I use, give me one second, I'm bringing it up right here. I use an app called The Portal, and this is it. I don't know how well you can actually see that because of the glare on the camera, but The Portal is probably one of the best apps that I have used that is free. It was developed in conjunction with a man named Steve Huff, and feel free to look on YouTube to find his videos. I actually admire the man. But yes, it is The Portal, and one of the best apps that I have used. It allows you to know what it does. Before I get into how it actually does it, what it does is it scans through internet radio. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the SB7 Spirit Box, this device right here, we've used this many, many, many times. The Portal is really just an updated version of this. The SB7 Spirit Box scans through FM and AM radio stations. The Portal simply scans through internet radio stations. And what it does is it takes those radio stations and it plays them in reverse. So all you're getting is just jumbled background noise. Here, I'll show you. It's just jumbled background noise. So any voice that comes through forward speaking, you can pretty much bet is a spirit. So here, okay, I've got to restart the app. Let me make sure the volume is up. And so this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is probably the most cost-effective way to go about it. Why? Because the app is free. So we're going to turn it on. Now, right down here, we have different banks of audio that I have now turned on. So it's going to scan through these different banks of audio, and it's going to scan it in reverse. So if anybody comes through, the spirit comes through, the spirit wants to communicate, anything that comes through forward, more than likely is a spirit. So if you hear all that right now, it's just background noise because I haven't opened up communication yet. Now, the thing about this app is that you can shut off the other banks. And you can just have one bank playing at a time, or you can have all 4 banks playing at a time. Now, something else about this is a little, you can't really see it, but right here, there's a little slider for the scan rate. So you can either scan slowly, or you can scan quicker. I usually leave it right in the middle. And so basically, okay, so I didn't open up communication. I didn't address anything. So we didn't get, really, from what I could hear, we didn't get anything coming through. So that is probably the most inexpensive way to get into spirit communication. The SB7 Spirit Box is fantastic. It's going to run anywhere between $60 to $80, depending where you get it from. What else? There's an older way of going about it, using candles. Now, the thing about using candles is that you want to make sure that you have a good wick on that candle. Not too high, not too short, but you want to be able to have a good wick on that candle. Light the candle, make sure there's no airflow around for that candle to be flickering back and forth. You want to have as still as you can, flame coming up from that candle. And what you can do is you can do simple yes-no type of questions. And so, for example, flicker once for yes, twice for no, type of thing. And just direct them, just tell them, how the flame flicker once for yes, twice for no. Direct them how to do it, show them how to do it. You can get inexpensive candles at any dollar store. Here in Las Vegas, we have the 99-cent store, and you can get candles for $1. It doesn't have to be the 7-day candles. You can get the little tea light candles. In fact, the little, excuse my mess here. This is all production stuff. That's all production stuff right here. But these little tea light candles work wonderfully for that. So that's another way you can do it. There is a meditation on here that I have. Now, I know that a lot of people like more of the direct type of communication, where you can physically hear it, but there's a meditation that I have on here that shows you how to communicate with specific spirits and how to have that one-on-one communication. And so that's another way. And the third way that's inexpensive is get yourself an old mason jar. It can be any size. It can be one of the smaller ones, or it can be a larger one. But an old mason jar, puncture a hole in the top. And from that hole, you want to take a wire, lead that wire down to a thin strip of aluminum foil. I have an old Skittles bag here. I'm a Skittles fan. So you want to take that aluminum foil, make it about yay wide, and then you're going to bend it like this. Bend it like this, and you're going to have that wire hanging suspended from the lid. And what you're going to do, simple yes or no questions. If there is someone here, can you separate the metal, the aluminum foil, and it'll do this. So once for yes, twice for no. And so that's another way to do communication. So those are the three absolute most inexpensive ways that I can think of, that I know of right off the top of my head, that would allow for spirit communication. The absolute easiest is using the Portal app. Now, the thing with the Portal app is that you have to record your session. And then you have to go back and you have to replay what you recorded, because you're only going to hear maybe 15, maybe 20% of the responses in real time. Everything else, you're going to hear it through playback, simply because the speed in which they speak. So you want to be able to record those sessions. The candle, if you don't already have some, you're looking at a buck invested, and that will also get you into communication. The last one that I mentioned to you, you can get into it for, if you already have aluminum foil, you don't have to spend any money on that. The mason jar, all this stuff really you can get at the 99-cent store. It doesn't have to be a mason jar. It can be any kind of like fruit canning jar. You can get any of this stuff at any dollar store. And so it's not really going to put you out a whole lot. So that's what I would do. Also, every single phone comes equipped with a voice recorder. So, for example, I have an LG. I actually prefer Samsung, but I have an LG. And right here, right there in the middle. In fact, let me turn the brightness down a bit. Okay, so right here, we have a voice recorder. And let me turn that brightness down a little bit more. So we have that voice recorder right there. A simple voice recorder, and there's a lot of voice recorder apps as well that you can use for EVP. Same thing, you want to be able to, when you're doing EVP, you want to be able to do short bursts. So you want to announce who you are, what you're doing, what your intentions are. You want to ask for protection. I personally make sure that I ask for only those of love and light. And then I ask a question, give a few seconds for them to respond should they want to. Then I stop and then play back. Next question, give a pause, stop and play back. And so that is how you would want to go about doing an EVP session. So those are 4 very, very, very easy ways to get into communication. Now, as far as spirit detection, again, 99-cent store. Go down to the 99-cent store and get 2 wire hangers. And you want to break them apart, make 2 L shapes out of them, get some rubber tubing, use as handles, and you now have divining rods. Super easy to do and will detect EMF energy. So that's something else. Okay, so there's a couple different ways if you want to go old school with it, want to go a little inexpensive, that you can get into spirit communication. Keep back with us, guys, because I finally have the parts coming in for the spirit phone, or I'm sorry, for the angel phone, and so we'll be doing live sessions on the angel phone as well. All right, guys, take care. Peace and love to you. Bye-bye.